Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. We've got for you a lot of good games, starting off with Lucas Moravec versus Steamhammer. Steamhammer's back and Lucas been pushing his bot hard, so God knows what we'll see here. Hopefully a good game. Before we get into the game, let's have a look at the leaderboard, because it is quite interesting. And you can see how many bots are on the server at the moment. It's really astounding, and it's a pity that only because of the voting system a lot of the better bots get playing time. And let me tune this down just a little bit. But at the top of the ELO rating we have got Crazio, and he has been able to get quite a gap going between it and Ironbot, so I think that's worth a mention. Then it's TSC Moo, and TSC Moo has managed to wiggle in between the number 1 and 2 and the rest, and then it is the rest. We see Purple Wave, Microwave, TSC Moo Zerg, Steamhammer and Tier Protoss. Strong showing TSC Moo Protoss, a 4-pooler, a Killerbot, Literbot, B-Reaver, and well, from there it's the usual suspects. KZIabot surprisingly high standing, and we'll find out why that is surprising. Arikhammer, haven't seen a lot from him for a little while, but still a force to be reckoned with, and Overkill's been updated as well. That's very good to see. So without further ado, let's get into this game and not into the YouTube video of the soundtrack playing. I will speed up the initial stage of the game to show the build of Steamhammer. It's pull first into scouting action, and that's a very quick lair. At the other end, oh sorry, I always should show you the battles. It's Zealot versus a handful of Zerglings, and that is, if that's a hatchery, I think it's a hatchery. 2 hatch, fast lair, and a 3 gate on the other end of things. So Lucas not taking any chances, getting some Zealots ready to push back the 6 Zerglings, and 6 Zerglings is everything that's going to be there. And oh dear, it's not a hatchery, it is a Hydra Den. So is this a 1-base lurker build? That's certainly going to kick ass, because Lucas only now starting gas, and the only problem for Steamhammer is that it will have to deal with a lot of Zealots pretty early on. We are going to see a, I think it's a Sunken, yep, there it is, badly placed. The Zealots are entering the ramp, and this I think is a lurker egg. So we have a handful of Zerglings, 2 Hydras, and 2 badly placed Sunkens. And I doubt that it is enough to get that whole lurker thing going. The Zealots are fleeing though, so oh, that's an interesting choice to morph an egg. But if the Zealots are not going to commit, the lurkers might just save the day, and no expansion yet for Lucas. And I don't know why these lurkers are hesitating. And now there is a lurker out, there are 2 lurkers out, there are 3 lurkers out, and 3 lurkers can pretty much leapfrog pretty well versus a handful of Zealots. So gas being mined, upgrades being built, and I think this is going to be a core, but some kind of detection would come in handy, because these lurkers can do this horrible kill Zealot stuff for a living for their entire lives. And now it's a leapfrogging train of lurkers going to hit those poor Zealots, and the Zealots take way too many hits. They haven't got any kind of detection, and that's just a pity, because all the Zealots die, and they might, with proper micro, keep those poor lurkers from... Oh dear, here we go. And as soon as you see this, things are not going well, because there are 2 goons, there is no detection, there is no cannon, and the lurkers going to town on the base, and yeah, there we go. More coming, expansion being built, another hatchery being built, but this game is run. No gas being mined for the time being, and that's an interesting choice for Steamhammer. So it is a lurker play. Oh, and only then there are going to be more drones harvesting gas. And this is the game, because it is the correct decision to make a robo facility, but you should build it a little bit out of the way to be able to eventually get up an observatory and do something about those Zealots. But right now it's way too late, and these lurkers, they could be moved into the mineral line, shutting down this Protoss completely. Now they're going to take a while, rounding up random buildings. And as there are no more coming, I think with a correctly placed observatory you could have done something with this. And now they're going to shut down the gas. That's going to be a problem. Well, no, we can't really spend the gas at this moment. But with an expansion, worker count still pretty low. This is a bit of a goo-glue. But, well, what can you do? Although Steamhammer J would not like this if he saw this. And this pretty much is the game. Handful of lurkers coming up. Lurkers, zerglings. And I'm going to call the GG. So let's hop into the next game. And it's going to be another TVP. This time it's Tyr Protoss versus Eric Hammer. Eric Hammer hasn't really shown as strong a form as he did before, where he had that build which countered Ironbots. And Ironbot has now gotten the better of Eric Hammer again, and all the other bots can sort of deal with Eric Hammer reliably. But it's still in the top 10, so that's not a bad feat at all. Tyr Protoss is a very good timing attack bot and can do a lot of damage. Standoff between 8lings and 4 zealots. 2, oh that's, oh god, oh yeah, that's Eric Hammer again. Way too many creep colonies, and of course there are a lot of zealots, but that might more wisely be spent in a couple of neuters or a lurker, and this I think is going to be a lair. And Tyr Protoss, look at that worker count, 40 workers, 2 bases, 2 forges spinning. This is going to be a hell of a timing attack, and I need to take a sneak peek. Yep, we've got green range started as well, only now. But now we've got the neuters, and the neuters can do something, but they insist upon attacking straight into the goons instead of, say, here, where there is not really much anti-air and they could kill a lot of probes. Instead, they try to focus down this, do some random damage versus the pylon, and Tyr's army is growing. It's now 60 army supply, 3rd base up for Eric Hammer. And that's something you shouldn't let a Zerg get away with, because, oh, 4th base and all. If you are contained like this, and, oh, finally, the first building is going to die, hopefully. Yep, yay! Building kill, good. Okay, so that's not the optimal way to use a pack of neuters. But if you are buying time, and although this army is double that in supply of the Zerg, with the neuters and the lings, you could snipe the goons, and then the zealots would just be sitting ducks. Now we've got hydras and all, and although Zerg is running like a pussy, okay, well this is going to be a problem, because although there are a lot of sunkens, oh, the neuters are coming back finally, that's not good. So the neuters should be fighting here, let the sunkens deal with the goons, and protect the bases, and that's not good. Tyr behind that push, taking the 3rd. Not much tech, but look at all this production, it's really juicy. And although these 3 goons here are stuck, this base is going to die. And then it's a 3 versus 3 base with a huge army advantage for Protoss. And the combat micro of Zerg leaves much to be desired, and that's just sad. We've got 1 lurker, it gets sniped instantly. Will we have any more lurkers? It doesn't look like it. Got a hive though, but the combat micro of Eric Hammer at this point is so bad that it will just fall over to... These neuters haven't done anything sensible. They've killed a pylon and done some pot shots at these goons, but no kind of concerted effort to do anything, no lurkers. And this Protoss push is just going to tear in, and all the rallies are going to come out as well. Tyr not taking a 4th. Protecting its 3rd with 3 goons, that's pretty well done, these 3 still stuck. But in the long run, Zerg cannot help but suffer, because it's got only 22 workers, 6 army supply, and as I said, its combat micro decision making is inferior to that of Tyr. So yeah, there we go, that was the 3rd, that was the 4th. Main is somewhat mined out. We've got a lurker, but there was an observer somewhere as well. Oh yeah, well, just right here on top of it. So this doesn't work. And Tyr not taking a 4th, it's just really a timing attack. Or no, that's an observer. So might do some more macroing, but for the time being, GG. Next game, we've got Ice Labs, and Ice Labs still there. Still in the top 25, I believe. And Purple Wave, having received an update, doing very well. Let's look at the build order. It's gate first into another pylon. And Goon speed. Oh, looks like a DT rush. Yep, there we go. And Icebot has got the wall up. And I think it's going for, I hope it's going for vultures, because if it's going for tanks it will be in a bit of a mess. First DT is coming up, and although all the other units aren't really getting anything done, this DT is going to do a lot of damage. Tanks on the high ground, yeah, pretty well, but no detection at all. DTs in the base, going straight for the tanks. The bunker is down, another DT is coming. Expansion's being taken, but yeah, this detection is coming way too late. 2 DTs in the mineral line. The worker count for ice is plummeting. Purple Wave at 2 bases already, adding some gates, and that's how you do it. Just run DTs in and wait for the GG. Oh, some splash damage from the tank because the DTs were too close to the... Oh, wait. It's going to get finished, but there is no army left for ice, and that's unfortunate. So, correct decision, but a little bit too not safe enough. And the DT ploy, well, succeeded. And yeah, there we go. No workers, no army, for ice, no money, and that is the GG. Well done, Purple Wave. Next game, it's a PvP. It's McGrave. McGrave, the macro monster, and although it should look out for Tier Protoss for that title, it would be nice to see a match between the two of them. And we've got at the other end Andrew Smith, and Andrew Smith, of course, is one of the old guard, and not to be trifled with. So, 1 gate goon range, I think, with a shield battery, versus 2 gate, just 2 gate, and getting stuck in your own base. That's unfortunate, but look at that conglomeration of Zealots. The army supply is 28 versus 14, and although there is a shield battery and there are goons, this is such a number of Zealots, but I do believe they appear to be stuck, and now they are unstuck because there is a probe and they dare not attack it for reasons. Natural being taken by McGrave, and that is going to be the game. I don't know why this stupid army is scared of one probe. Now it's being chased back to base. But this 1 base timing attack is not going to work because the army supply, although Andrew Smith at the moment is double, in the long run... Oh, here we go, expansion taken. This is going to be a horrible, horrible push. But the natural for McGrave has been up a little bit longer, and McGrave is now taking the field. McGrave is taking the field, and... Yep, it's stuck here. Oh, and that is going to be a hell of a PvP battle. 3rd base being taken by McGrave. No additional tech, just going to be pylons, and oh, this is going to be some kind of tech. That is going to be Citadel. Oh no, it's a rogue facility, almost. And there we go. The armies are about now in the favor of Andrew Smith. The concave for McGrave though is much, much better, and the first units are already falling for Andrew Smith. McGrave doing some damage, Goon getting low, Goon's getting low, but you can see that the army of Andrew Smith is falling. It's pure Goon versus Goon and Zealots. The Zealots are stuck, the Goons are hesitating, and this army is getting way out of control. And all kinds of things going wrong with... Oh well, that's a pity. Andrew Smith getting stuck up. These workers are frozen. Or McGrave. Okay, well you can see where this is going. McGrave momentarily pulling back, regrouping, but already the army supply is way in favor of McGrave. And that's only going to get worse because, oh well, that's a 3rd base for Andrew Smith. Andrew's still not out of this. 3rd base up for McGrave. McGrave with the slight worker advantage. and the army advantage. It's got Mariva. Mariva's going to come off the line to help, but these workers really bother me. And that is going to be a pair of cannons, perhaps 4 shuttle lever drop defense. Third base pretty late for Andrew Smith, and the hammer is going to hit the anvil again. And the anvil is pretty small because I don't know why, it's so silly. And the hammer is going to have its way with the anvil. Fourth base being taken by McGrave, and the Reaver is making its way over. Would be nice to have a shuttle there, but the Natural's being depopulated. And that's going to be the game, because McGrave too late with the tech. Oh, the worker seems to have restarted himself. Perhaps a couple of Dark Templar might turn the tide of the battle. Third base, of course, is up for McGrave, so with the income from the main and the third, could do something, but need a round of DTs pretty quickly. And of course there is an observer too, so that's not going to work. And with the main in tatters, the third mining, but 4 bases up for McGrave. Workers being transferred, and the tech is there-ish. Another Reaver will have to crawl across the map to try and do damage. That's really something. Okay, so going to call the GG, because there's a lot of games we've got to show today, and one of those is KZRbot versus Literbot, and it's the latest version. We must have 10 versions of Literbot on the server. So, Literbot, what are you going to do? I think Literbot dropped timing attacks altogether. It's just going for solid play. Depot into barracks. At the other end we've got the pool first and no expansion. That's a pretty quick lair. And another barracks defensive bunker at the command center. That's something. So building placement. Oh, I did say that Literbot wasn't doing timing attacks anymore, but is really going for some defensive stuff. And that's a lot of bunkers, and that's going to be another barracks. I don't know, and there are lurkers in the offing. So we've got lurkers, we've got no detection, but with those three bunkers, perhaps Literbot might do something. If only it didn't run into lurkers headlong. Oh god. Yeah, that's nice, floated, won't be able to be killed. And that's going to be, well, there is turret here now, please, quickly, 4 lurkers already. And the natural, so I think if you get this scan up somehow... Oh god. Oh god, detection, please! And that's something that these bot, if you spot a lurker, build detection immediately. And we saw that with the Protoss players earlier. They just didn't think it important and didn't know that if a lurker is going to show its ugly head, that you need a cannon, or in Terran's case a turret or a scan or anything like that. And oh god, is a turret going to be built here? Okay, let's see how this is going to play out, because Literbot's not out of this yet. The lurkers are stuck on this refinery, and a lot of buildings are being built here, mainly defensive ones, and no additional army being produced. So army supply for KZRbot is 8. And this refinery is still there, and yeah, that factory will never get up there. There is a comsat, which is good. And there is another one, which is also good. But there is no army. Oh, and this... Oh, there are no marines here. Oh god. It's the clusterfuck of the century. Lurker play shouldn't be all that hard. Yeah, it's a scan, but you need to attack as well. And the lurkers are leaving for 3 marines demolishing the natural. Oh, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Evo chambers, and the lurkers are pulling back. So now the lurkers have got to leapfrog their way into the base, and with a tank might kill one and die as well. Oh, 1 lurker died, and now the army supply is 6 because KZRbot refuses to build any army at all. And this tank sieging into range, and this is just... Yeah, and that was the entire army of KZbot. KZbot needs more Evo chambers, definitely. This is really ridiculous. No army at all, lots of money, 55 workers and more Evo chambers than even God would ever need. What can you say? Litterbot now on 2 bases, and I think Litterbot's going to win this because it's just all Evo chambers. Evo chambers here, Evo chambers there, Evo chambers everywhere. This is really something. Okay, not going to... Oh well, can't speed it up. Haha. Irradiated Overlord, very well done. And I can put it on 32 times the speed. You can see Litterbot does surprisingly well versus Evolution Chambers. And the Overlord's here, the Overlord's there, and oh well, that's the game. GG! Next, it's... Oh, sorry. Okay, well, we skipped the initial stages of the game. We've got Lucas Moravec versus Ximp, the carrier bot by Thomas Weider. And Lucas going for a proxy 2-gate into a silly dance in face of the cannons. And Ximp would be wise to build more cannons quickly, because there are going to be a lot of zealots. Oh god. Yeah, there you go. And that was the game. Okay, so good win for Lucas Moravec, bad play from Ximp. And this is not going to work at all. Ximp's got a handful of zealots too. But we'll never get up any kind of carriers on 1 base, and although the zealots come off the line to help fight, not going to work, because Lucas is going to build more army, hopefully. Yeah, eventually. Oh, and this is going to be 1 base carrier play versus a proxy 2-gate. Oh god. And Ximp done it with the 3 zealots. And now the natural's up and Lucas is milling about, but yeah, main being retaken, and even off 1 base you can do some kind of carrier play, presumably. Yeah, that's the first carrier coming up. And although there are more zealots now for Lucas Moravec, tearing down this nexus in revenge for the damage inflicted by the first zealots, the carriers will come off in time to save the day, hopefully. There is a cannon and another cannon, so these cannons might do something. And Ximp has got some money for interceptors, not much. It is still mining, so interceptors might be built. Yep, there we go. So now it's 1 base carrier versus 2 base zealots of Proxy Rex. More gateways coming up, so that might be interesting. And we've got 3 carriers now. Oh god, what this is. And 8 workers only for Thomas Weider. Yeah, handful of goons not going to do anything. And 8 workers still. Lots of goons getting killed. Wow. Lots of goons getting killed. Cannon coming into play as well. Not going for the interceptors, going for the hulls of the carriers. And with a lot of gates and 2 bases, you might eventually win this, because Ximp steadfastly refuses to make more than 3. Oh, but the 2 zealots going to help as well, tanking some of the damage and moving out of the way. But the carriers are getting low, and although a lot of goons are dying, I think in the long run Lucas is going to take this, because it's got more. Oh well, there are workers being rebuilt for Ximp, now 10. So let's see how this is going to play out. Lots and lots of goons getting killed, but the carriers are getting low. And as the carriers die, there will be nothing to stop these marauding goons of Lucas Moravec from killing the base. And will we see more carriers? No, we won't for some reason. There is money, but there is no carrier being built. And there were 3, there are 2. And I don't think they've got the increased interceptor count upgrade. Oh, 1 more's being built. Oh god, please let it end. Lots of goons, and that surely is the game. Yeah, GG. Worker count for Ximp is okay, but versus a 4 base, wow. That's planting a new base in style. A couple of cannons might do well. But this is over. The one base is mined out, all the probes are dead, lots of goons, and that is the GG. Next game, it's Lucas again, and this time versus... Where is it? Didn't start. Oleg Ostromov dropped from the game. Sorry. Next, McGrave versus Ironbot. Ironbot has fallen a little bit in the rankings. It's not longer number 1, it's number 2 by a large margin. So still a force to be reckoned with, and the other end is the Macro Protoss McGrave. So McGrave on a 2 base without any cannons, but with a couple of goons and now mines, so that's going to be a problem. And as you can see, Iron is killing some... Killing a lot of workers, but the goons now with 2 are doing okay, but they're running back into the base to kill this stupid scouting thing. Oh, unlucky there, Iron with the mines, but these vultures are going to mine the entire base. And yeah, there you go. Build 1 cannon, build 2 because they don't suffer from mines. Iron running away with this because killing way too many workers, and the goon count severely depressed already. Lots of mines at the bottom of the ramp, and these goons really can't get down. Oh, and the probe count is dead. So Iron still showing what it does best with the vultures, tearing everything to pieces, mining up stuff. Not too quick with the natural though. Might do that now because, well, the enemy is dead. And that is the GG, a redeeming match for McGrave. Hello McGrave, going for another try, and this time's enemy is Gearbot. And Jay Scott did an excellent blog post on that. It's oh, I got a link to that somewhere in the description of this video. On Gearbot and its new functionalities. What the? Lots of Zerglings. Okay, rewind. Lots of Zerglings. And where? What the fuck is this? Okay, well that was nice, because if you get 4 pools you just try and equalize the number of workers. There is a cannon up, of course, but that's a stupid way to throw away. Well, it's a pretty good way to throw away 10 workers. So, for fast expanding, you're throwing away 10 probes to equalize the difference. Another cannon. And that's going to be a Hydra Den. Is this going to be 1 base lurker play again? No, couple of Hydras, couple of Lings. And we are stuck again. No, God, not again. So, natural up for McGrave now. McGrave with the worker count way up. 3 cannons, and although there are quite a number of Hydras which might easily bust those 3 cannons, they are stuck on... Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we've got 3-4 cannons with 2 gates, handful of Zealots. Might be an interesting conflict. There we go. Hydras killing the cannons as foreseen. I have foreseen. And the Hydras, okay, so throwing away 10 workers into a sad loss of your natural and your main probably as well. No natural for Gearbot coming up. And that was all the tech for McGrave. McGrave with a handful of Zealots, but with good micro from the Hydras, that's not going to last anywhere as long as he would like to. And again, I say GG. And next game, it's Marek Kadek versus Antigua. Marek, of course, one of the old guard Terrans, pretty decent, and using it to test the new developments of Antigua. Antigua was, or the author of Antigua was the one who helped Eric Hammer with that build order which wrecked Iron for a long time. And now it's Goon Range versus a Terran. And the question is, will we have Goon? Yeah, Goon Range we have as well. Will the Marines fight? And they will, and we've got a tank and all. So for the time being, Terran appears to be safe. Will Antigua now build an expansion or just more units? And I don't really think you can power 5 gateways of 1 base. Surely not. But the micro of these goons, whose numbers are increasing, is going to be superior to everything that a Terran can throw at it piecemeal. And look at that goon micro. Antigua rounding up Marek Kadek with surprising ease. No natural, no nothing. Just 5 gates. Oh, and that's a bit of a miss-hit, I'd say. And another gate. You can't power so many gateways at one base. Just build. Oh, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't power 7 gates at one base. But the game is done. And, Antigua looking good. So, next game. It's Bereaver versus Purple Wave. And Purple Wave doing quite well. Purple Wave and Bereaver. So Bereaver with the last major update before last year's installment of the finals, the Student StarCraft AI tournament. And that's some kind of a wall-off, or I don't know. For the time being, it's going to be one gate Goon range versus 2 gate Zealots. It's all in the execution, so will the Goon numbers be able to hold? And if they do, they can out-micro a lot of Zealots. It would be advisable to take through the map to get some more room to maneuver, and they are doing just that. Bereaver going for more Zealots and not throwing them at the enemy piecemeal, that's good. But 4 Goons and the high ground, yeah, 1 Zealot, 2 Zealots get picked off, and you can see Purple Wave's army supply is growing, and the tech is better too. Bereaver going for more Zealots and cannons. So that's a bit of a conflicted build order, but look at this nice concave by Purple Wave. Purple Wave with the equal army supply, but it's all Goons versus Zealots, so that's going to be a problem for Bereaver. And the naturals are both being taken, and first Goons are there for Bereaver, so as long as Purple Wave doesn't capitalize on its tech advantage, I think it's going to be a quite similar game, as Bereaver will be focused on building more Goons compared to Zealots. And you can see the army supplies are kind of equal, so with the defender's advantage you'd be doing quite well. It boggles me, and the question is who is going to... Oh no, that's an observer. Who's going to land a couple of big hits with Reaver? And now Bereaver's on the move with the superior army supply. That's a surprise. The Reaver though is full supply of that, and it's going to have to run a long way to make it into the fight. Now with the cannons and some extra pylons for moral support, Purple Wave doing quite well. Army supply is bigger. The Reaver is going to come into play though, so that might be wise for Purple Wave to postpone that conflict a little bit. Although I can't really see why it would play so defensive. It must be able to build some kind of detection or an observer and scout out the enemy base. And this Reaver, we've got 2 Reavers now on the side of Bereavers. It's going to come down to the micro, back to normal speed. And the Reavers are being blocked in by their own units. As you can see, these Scarabs are some kind of invincible units with bad pathing. And they need to have some free space, and they need to be closer to the line of conflict. Purple Wave losing a couple of stray units here and there, taking a 3rd base. That might just be its saving grace. Oh, we've got High Templar now. Have they got Storm? I think they do. Yeah, there we go. So Storm, first one sort of misses, hits the observer somewhat. The Reavers are further back in the rear. 1 Goon messing up the army movement of Purple Waves, because if these units stop to fire down this 1 Goon, the rest of the army will catch up. Another base being taken by Bereaver, and all of all we got quite good... Oh, that's a lot of Reavers. And these Zealots are not going to enjoy this very much. The Reavers though need to fight this army. They're all in a retreat, and they must make a decent front, get the Reavers to bear, bring the Reavers to bear, and then they're in for a treat. Now 3rd base, well, they're about equal in timing, a little bit later for Bereavers, and the Reavers are too far back in the rear. That's unfortunate. Where now is that shuttle? The shuttle is here and it's not getting anything done. That's unfortunate. But a large portion of the Goons are running and are pinned to the walls. The Reavers are going to catch up, but even without that, the Goons of Bereaver have got the superior position and the superior micro. The Goons of Purple Waves aren't fighting, and that's good news for Bereaver, because it takes a lead of about 10 in army supply. Walling off that 3rd, I like that. That's pretty well done. And now with the Reavers and the army supply, Purple Wave is... I find it suspicious how badly it's picking those fights. The Templars are way back in the rear, and a large swath of its army got caught off here, again pinned against the wall and killed off. The High Templar are too far away, and now it's a Gate versus Gateway army, but there are 3 Reavers on the side of... Oh, and there is a Reaver in the main, and that is going to be the deal. Going to be the deal, and where are the High Templar? The High Templar are too far in the rear. Purple Wave losing this on Army Micro. This one is empty, surely. Oh, that's... Oh, nice storm dodging by B-Reavers. B-Reaver really giving a PvP clinic here. It's a PvP hospital, and... Oh, well, the Reavers are a bit slow to get out of the way, but as you can see, the army supply for B-Reavers is way superior to that of Purple Waves. This base is populated, this base sparsely, and the main is sort of out. Especially with those 2 Reavers here, or 1 Reaver, I don't know how many there are. And the natural looks like this, so the mining here will be severely disrupted, if not shut down entirely, momentarily. And although a 4th base has been taken by Purple Wave, the biggest issue for Purple Wave at this moment, look at that, a full High Templar. And if these High Templars might, there were about 4 or 5 of them, would have fight in tandem with the army here and the cannons there, they might have done pretty well, but they didn't. And that is going to cost you the game. This Reaver being shut down by a couple of Zealots, but already it is over. It's 51 versus 18 workers, 50 versus 13 army supply. The natural is down, the main is shut down, and still that Reaver is here. It's not really doing all the damage it needs to do, but it is close enough. And although these bases are up, or will, because the army supply of B-Reavers isn't growing as fast as it should, will Purple Wave be able to stage a comeback? No, there goes the last defensive structure. It's only 7 versus 45 army supply, 54 army supply, 51. These High Templars really could be used better than the other ones, and that's the new expansion being hammered into the ground. Production-wise, B-Reaver only on 70 army supply. Well, that's okay. Could do a little bit better. Could take another base because the main is out. Or I think those minerals are not worth the trouble of mining. Storm fluffs again, or the Reaver moves out of its way, and that's surely going to be the game. So, good showing by Purple Wave, but B-Reaver still too strong, too good. Can't wait for it to release a new update for the new finals, which will be starting in the Christmas holidays. So for now, let's hop into the last game already. And I must pardon for being a little bit quick today, but well, of course, time is the fire in which we burn. And I thought, well, let's cap off with, and for your memory, Crazio is now the undisputed #1 with a winning percentage of 82%. Used to be about 100 over the last week. And then the winning percentages of the other bots are really not quite as good. So I thought, well, I'd take a match of Iron versus Crazio and see how Crazio fares versus Ironbot. Ironbot going for its bread and butter, very quick factory of 1 base. A couple of Marines to secure the base. And another factory, so 2 factories. Crazio's got the factory done earlier. Or no, a little bit later, sorry for that. And the first vulture of Eric Hammons is moving out already. Now, we've got 2 Marines, which are going to be shot down quickly. And then it's going to be some vulture on vulture action. Crazio starting off with a couple of vultures, jealously guarding this ramp here. It's a small ramp, which will be beneficial, and repairing almost as fast as Iron would. Iron moving its wounded vulture back to base. We'll be having a close look at how this game develops, because Ironbot's got 9 army supply, Crazio 6, worker count for Crazio a little bit higher, 2 factories, 1 machine shop, and 1 starport. 1 barracks, not really doing anything. Worker count virtually even. So what is Crazio going to do? Going for a starport, 1 factory, 1 Goliath, that's always a good choice versus vultures and wraiths. And an armory which is spinning and had a small peak. Oh, that's a spider mine upgrade for Iron. and Crazio is going for the +1 weapons. So that might be, is there some kind of breakpoint we don't know about that will help the units with the versus ground army? And Iron's vultures have been stuck in the base for a long time. Usually they're all out and about and in your face, and Crazio trying to take the field with 2 Goliaths and 2 vultures and 1 wraith of its own. Is it going to fight, or is it going to look for a vulture? And Crazio with a very quick natural Iron. Iron keeping its units at home, and I can't understand that. Why is it doing that? The wraith of Iron's getting hurt badly, going back for repairs. Same goes for Crazio. And Ironbot's got double the army supply, but it's sitting there in its base and only now moving out again. Upgrade wise, that's the spider mines finishing up and the vulture speed, and Crazio going for Goliath range as well versus those wraiths. So Crazio going to bank on the Goliaths. We've got 3 already. Taking a peek at the production, Crazio is building more Goliaths. So that I think is good, because Goliaths do well versus vultures and wraiths. They should be a little bit careful about and careful about getting cut off like this, because the vultures of Iron pretty well know that if you've got 7 vultures versus 1 Goliath, you can take down the 1 Goliath. Army supply for Ironbot is superior, and these vultures are getting low, and Crazio's got very little army. Very little army. 1 wraith taking 3, taking all the vultures for a spin, and Crazio losing some workers. So remember that the winning rate of Crazio is not 100%, and losing a lot of workers can severely hamper its economy. Now there are 2 wraiths and 1 Goliath, and a bunker might really do wonders here. We've got a tank, so although the army supply of Crazio is a little bit less than that of Iron, because the quality is better, namely wraiths, Goliaths and a tank. Ooh, losing 1 there. Oh god, oh lucky bastard. Moving back and bringing the game to Iron, and Iron is playing very passively. Now trying to go for a natural. Yep, the money is there, but it's a little late. Crazio already with 1.5 times the workers, got the superior army composition and got the wraith superiority. And that's strange, because normally Iron's all in your face with the harass and the workers, and it's now only got 1 wraith, and Crazio's got 2 which are running, which I cannot understand. Crazio going for a turret and siege mode and double repair on that tank, because the tank took a couple of mine hits again, and that's not good. But Crazio with the 2 base and the air reconnaissance with the superior units out there to just take a little bit of breathing space, and Iron just losing too many vultures. 2 wraiths, 2 Goliaths, and to the occasional siege tank blast. The tanks really can't get into range, and Iron hasn't got much anti-air. So these 2-3 wraiths might take down the 1 of Iron's and do a lot of damage versus these tanks. And Crazio just setting up shop, not rushing things. The turret cover I feel is better than it used to be. 1 here, it might build a couple of 1 there, so these buildings don't get pew-pewed and the army distracted. But these 3 wraiths of Crazio's are going to get a free tank, and they should do something about that turret, really. Because the turret gets up, the tank is safe, and the tank will live. Yeah, there is a Goliath out there, and you see, while Crazio was sort of ahead, Iron has got the map dominance, and that is really beyond me. And although Crazio's got the tanks, has got the air superiority at this moment, the wraiths are not that good. We've got 1 here, and where are the 2 other ones? You really got to keep an eye on those things. Oh, there are 2 here as well. And Iron's got the cloak, so these wraiths have got to run for a bit. Oh, got shot out of the air. And Crazio going for a slow push with the extra air vision. Might want to take a third, because the main's getting low already. Same goes for Iron, but Iron not so much, because it got less SCVs. So Iron in an okay position, doing its containy thing. Crazio trying to push out, building more turrets, taking more space for its own, not relying on spider mines at all. Is this the evolution And that is going to hurt Crazio, because Iron's got the high ground visions, got the tanks, and this zone here is not controlled by Crazio. And that is why Crazio really should be better with the turret cover. If you build one turret here and there, the tanks can't really reach it, and you can sort of keep the scouting wraiths away from your base. Crazio now with a small tank push, and that the tank numbers are really low. It's only 3, and Iron on this side of the map as well. So Iron's got the contain going and might take a third base without punishment, because Crazio is contained. Army supply wise it's about equal, worker supply wise it's about equal. So this game is balanced again, and both players are now struggling for some kind of an edge in this 2 versus 2 base scenarios. In Crazio, well, can we do that? It's 3 tanks for Iron, 6 for Crazio, 2 versus 2 Wraiths, 6 versus 1 Goliath, and 12 versus 2 Vultures. So Iron's still relying on a lot of Vultures, and Crazio not doing so. Crazio really should do something about those Wraith incursions. Just cover, build an influence zone of that turret, and then make a couple so these things don't happen. It's such a distraction. Crazio going for another armory and a science facility. Iron, no, that's a spider mine. Iron is going just for buildings, and Crazio is going to suffer a little bit in the army supply, but it's got the tank count. Crazio's got the tank count, and without a superior tank count of Iron or a decisive air advantage. Ooh, that's sloppy. And that's sloppy by Crazio, because this tank is really exposed and there is no anti-air anywhere to be seen. These buildings taking a lot of hits, and that is... I feel like Iron is ever so often just usurping a little bit of Crazio's army supply with the defender's advantage, with the mines, with the raids, of which there are now 3 on Iron's side, and I see only 1 for Crazio. Crazio lost a building here, losing some hit points there and there, and although it's pushing Iron back, Iron's taking a third base behind this. Crazio isn't. And Crazio's main is getting low, so Crazio will have to do something in this next couple of minutes to make something work, and work pretty fast, because the natural isn't as healthy anymore, and you can't play 1 versus 2 base in a TVT. You just can't do that. And although Crazio's got the tank count, this defensive line or Iron must get cut off here in this mineral only. And that's just, the concave is there, but Iron should be saying to himself, well, this is not really a good position for concave because you're not mobile there, so build the concave here. And if Crazio wants to go here, we just put a couple of tanks on the high ground and deal with that way. Crazio can't get out, and the turrets are all here, but the turrets aren't here, and oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Lots of turrets by Crazio, but a third is up for Iron, and although there are 2 vultures of Crazio's, there is a large portion of army coming off the line to help and fight that. So this third is operational, and Crazio will have to make something work with these tanks here. And might really scan or build a science vessel. I'm speeding it up just a little bit because these TVTs with tank battles can get really protracted, and although I see how much of the game is still playing in this beautiful OpenBW replay viewer, you are not, so I'm going to keep it secret from you how this game is going to unfold. I don't know either, but I know how long it's going to play. So, Crazio pushing on with the repair, with the Goliaths, and although Iron's raid numbers are increasing, they aren't really able to do much damage. They should be taking out this, what's it called? Barracks. It's called Barracks, I knew that. But instead they are trying to go for the tanks and then being repelled by these Goliaths. And Crazio now's got a science vessel. With Crazio really being on point with the tank repairs, can't see how much health this one's still got. But Iron with the 3 base and the main for Crazio is out. So Crazio, this push will have to do wonders or he's going to be out of this. And Crazio unable to take a third because he can't really break this beautiful contain. And Iron, I love how Iron is still handling it. Iron's number 2, but this is a beautiful contain. The focus of this contain, the heavy stuff, is located here, and just a couple of vultures here to prevent Crazio from moving out. Might have an SCV there too to do some repairs, and this SCV is trying to get out, but it's not really being too subtle about it, just should hug the wall and try to escape. Now the vultures have found it and will shut it down, so no third for Crazio. The natural has still got some use in it, but a 2 versus 1 base isn't really sustainable in a TVT. And Iron's contain is getting better and better from all sides, and although Crazio's got the matrix, its buildings are losing HP, its tanks are losing, and that is... oh, we've got another Wraith incursion here, and that turret is really doing wonders at this point. One here might entirely... one here and one there, and the base would be safe completely, and Crazio's got Iron pushed back into, well, into the middle of the map. This small pocket has been cleared up, and as you can see, Ironbot is not really gaining an advantage in army supply, and that's strange. Crazio is so good in keeping its tanks alive that Iron really has got this lockdown, and although there is a Wraith, Crazio, ooh, yeah, that's a good tank shot from above. Crazio really should make it a point to move out on the map more, because it can't take a third. Iron could take a fourth. It's got the money. Well, Crazio's got the money for sure, but Iron might be able to take the map, and it's just spending money to keep this contain going. The supply is getting the better of Crazio little by little, and Crazio, although it's doing wonders with the tanks, now shelling this supply depot by means of the high ground vision. That's good. Crazio's tank play is unrivaled. It's so beautiful. But I feel that Iron should get more purchase out of its Wraith. But Crazio, with the Vessel and the Goliaths, is doing ever so well to keep them back. And I am sorry if this one game takes longer than all the other games together, but it's just so beautiful to see number 1 and number 2 bot play and go at it with the TVT. It's such a minute game, and Crazio, oh, the science vessel of Irons is not really as good. Oh, and Iron trying to muscle in on Crazio, but losing a lot of units again. And you can see it's thrown away a lot of army, and now the Wraiths are going off to take on this one Wraith, but there are a lot and lots of Goliaths out here. But still the fact remains, ooh, Crazio's more than doubling Iron's army supply. Iron is throwing away too much. Crazio going for a full tank composition. Small peak, 22 versus 10 tanks. The Wraiths of Iron, as I said, are not getting anything done. Same goes for the Vultures and the Goliaths. So Crazio doing very well. Iron's got the +2 upgrades. They both have +1 armor, missile range, vulture speed, air weapons, and Crazio just going for a full ground composition with a couple of Wraiths and 1 science vessel, only for reconnaissance, shelling a couple of buildings here and there, and just all those tanks. And Crazio has found a way to sneak out an SCV, and the contain has missed it. The contain has missed it. There are of course vultures roving about, which, oh, it looks like this one might spot the SCV and kill it promptly. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Crazio's really going to get starved because the natural will be out soon. But the army of Irons is being refilled with, it's a 2 versus 1 base. Iron can afford, or sort of afford to lose buildings. This is going to be a problem though, because if his production is going to be camped, and Crazio, if he would have a dropship to drop 2 tanks here, he would have permanent vision and could tear right into the main. Iron is really losing stuff here. That's not good. He might afford to lose some units on the contain, but losing buildings like this and that tank count of Crazio's is really getting out of control. That's really something. Oh damn! My! Arr! I can't use the. Oh, I use the mouse for some reason. My arrows are. Oh, well, I mean they're located in some kind of menu. About OpenVW project. If I open it in another tab, I will get my bloody cursor back. Please give me my cursor back. Okay, well, never mind. I'll use the new map with the mouse. Iron really should have taken a fourth while all this was going on. Crazio's natural is mining out. This thing has been shut down. The contain is there. There are so many tanks here, and they are not attacking, they're just containing. And it's only one tank for Crazio. So Crazio is going to have to work a miracle here, because this concave is going to close in on here and do a lot of damage. This one tank is really towing the line for Crazio. Another tank coming up, and Crazio with the last minute, last ditch defense of its natural, while this tank core is pushing Iron back. Iron's pushing back here, but this is going to be a problem for these 2 tanks, 3 tanks, 4 tanks of Crazio, and that I feel it's really the composition at the moment keeping Crazio into the game. These tanks are really doing damage, and although they are not being as repaired as much as those tanks of Irons, they are just as adaptive. Every time Iron pushes in, they veer back a little bit. You can see they're veering back. This SCV should be repairing. Yep, there it goes. This tank not damaged at all. So Iron really can't get anything done, and this contain should stay up for Iron. Crazio now taking another mine hit to the knee, and the natural is out. The natural is out. Crazio snuck out an SCV, and it needs to defend that. If this base will stay into the game, the tank core here for Crazio with the Matrix is doing damage. Production of Iron is camped, and Iron is going for the contain, but the contain consists of its own natural. It's got one base, but Crazio is there as well. There are 3 vultures out of nowhere. The contain faltered. And, oh, it's a mess of SCVs. I thought there was another army, but the third for Iron is shut down by 3 vultures. The natural is being camped, and it's down and out. And Crazio, with a miracle stroke of genius, took the base, took a 3rd base, and now it's a 1 versus 0 base operation. Oh dear, how did I miss that? Okay, rewind. So, contain still there. Crazio fighting a rearguard action with 2 tanks. And all of a sudden, let's keep an eye out on how there could be 3 vultures killing this. This army core is pretty small compared to that and that, but Iron for some reason is losing to the tanks. It's got a number of tanks here, 1, 2, 3. It's losing tanks. These tanks are careless, and Crazio moving out with a vulture first, and then with an SCV. And then there are 2 vultures for Crazio on the warpath. They snuck out through here, as there are only SCVs. And then Crazio all of a sudden is here at the choke, camping the production, camping the natural. The natural is out, and these 2 vultures, I think there are 3 vultures. This base is being constructed, and the 3 vultures find the 3rd base of Iron, which is entirely unprotected. And that is really something that these bots should pay attention to. Crazio too, this base has got 2 turrets, but if a couple of vultures snuck by, and God knows Iron loves vultures, it would be cheesecake for them. But Crazio bringing things back from the dead, now with double the supply. Iron is too harassy, it's not able to fight the large-scale tank battles, and this is nearly pure tank with a handful of Goliaths to fend off the raids, 1 science vessel. And Crazio has got the ramps, got the naturals, got the production, and shut down the 3rd. 4th is up and running. I'd really like to see a bunker on top of this, or a tank or 2, or a couple of vultures, or any kind of protection. And there are 2 tanks for Iron, but they are being engaged as well. Ooh, they're just out of range, out of sight range. But Crazio's got this well under control. 1 tank on the high ground just for good measure. And this tank is going to go down. It's a renegade rogue tank with only a handful of HP. Crazio taking some mines, but as there is only 1 tank... Ooh, that was a bad target selection for Iron. The 3rd is down, the natural's down, and... oh god, what a game by Crazio. And it's not that Iron is any worse, it's just the tiny decision giving Crazio the edge. And for those of you who haven't been following the scene, Crazio is going to play a show match versus a human versus Antigua on Tuesday. And Crazio is being updated with a special version for versus human play, which is a little bit different than versus AI play, and is going to be run on a on a computer with about 4 or 5 times the strength of the server which these games are run on, so it would perhaps give the human player a run for its money. We will be closely watching that. There will be announcements on Facebook, and there will be a stream going as well, and I will hopefully get some replays on that, because it's so beautiful to see AIs versus humans. For now, congratulations to Crazio, because that's really a feat, taking Iron by the hairs, 4th base up, and Crazio is such a monster. Congratulations on the 1st place for the time being, and let's wait what Iron's going to do, and let's also wait for what the rest of the pack is going to do, because Crazio and Iron have been on top for so long. It's really something. This is the GG. This was this week's broadcast of the Student StarCraft AI tournament. You can visit us here, watch these bots play 24/7, learn to play against them, and code these beautiful monsters yourself. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. I say goodbye.